dumb. Like I don't change anything. Show every message. There we go. Why do I have to set that every single time I come up in here? Y'all should be able to just have it. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I don't know what it is with YouTube. Hey, everybody. Sorry if y'all were messaging. If y'all don't mind re-typing what y'all said. If y'all were speaking, I'm so sorry. I don't know why YouTube keeps doing this. It's so fucking weird. But yes, please don't forget to like, guys. But like, I don't know why YouTube keeps doing it. It's so annoying. But we're back. So if y'all are messaging, please feel free to reissue what y'all said. Yana usually updates me and tells me on Instagram. But yeah, I made it before notification popped up. I appreciate it. Yeah, period. We love you, Silly Billy. Truly, 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 truly. I love you so bad. So bad. And don't be weird, period. There we go. Okay. If y'all were saying anything, maybe y'all don't be able to message me after she screenshotted it. Maybe she'll be able to message me on Instagram. But yes, all my series follow that formula because you'll know my main thing is like, I guess you could say I automatically do this, but I am very big on making my content ADHD friendly because as an ADHDer, I know how quick we can lose attention. Like when I say, it's like, I call it the neurodivergent second. Because like, say for instance, right, we're talking and I'm talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, and I do this and then talk and talk and talk. Within that second that I pause, I can immediately get distracted. Immediately. I'd be like, oh. You know what I'm saying? Like I can immediately lose interest, immediately get distracted. So with me, I don't know if y'all have ever noticed, but I literally can, I literally try my best when I'm talking through my text too, when I'm doing my voiceovers. As y'all can see, I kind of keep my text back to back to back to back to back with really no room for like a pause because as a ADHD, I catch the tiniest moment for me to be able to move on to something else. I catch it immediately. And so I try to make my videos as ADHD friendly as possible. And Serenity actually had noted that she loves that she never has to speed my videos up. And I try to make it just like that for every video. So he just quoted the song I said, and I said I'll be singing it all night. Also, that your phone is for the short are brilliant. Thank you. So I appreciate that. Like I try to make my ADHD friendly because as ADHD, I know how I like to consume content, and so because of that, not only do I preach about ADHD and everything about me is ADHD, I want to make sure that they are tailored to the ADHD mind, and the neurotypicals love it too. So it's fun, it's bright, it's quick. If you've ever noticed, my videos kind of go like fast. Like I don't really like to keep them small and short and talk really slow, and I hate that genuinely. So like I wanted to make it where all my videos, even including the long form ADHD activities, I wanted to give you something immediately that's going to draw you in. That's your hook. That's what everybody should have. You should always have a hook, right? Draw me in. What am I looking for? Now, especially for the long form, right? I always try to put the funniest, most engaging, most interesting clip out of the entire video in the very beginning of the video. Because now you're chomping at the bit seeing what the hell caused Koi to act so crazy or be all surprised or whatever. Now you're like, yeah, I gotta get to that point in the video where she was like acting like that. What happened? That is what you should be doing for all your videos. Or at least I believe so. Especially if you want to make it ADHD friendly, you got to make it interesting in the very beginning. So with my hooks though, for my shorts, I always make it where, for instance, I'll say for the ADHD adventures, I'm always showing you the most interesting part of my day. If I do not have the most interesting part of my day, I don't wait to get the most interesting part of the day. I always try to find an opener that will grab your attention in the very beginning. Hold on, I hate this always too. These are super engaging. Did you take notes? Period. Hello. I tried to. I hate slowness. It's so fucking boring. And I'm gonna scroll. I'm gonna scroll. Also, I hate when people beg for views. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. If you have to beg for engagement, if you have to beg for views, your content is fucking boring. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a bean. If you have to beg people to stay, the whole please don't scrolls and all that extra shit, make your video engaging enough where you don't have to ask somebody not to scroll. They'll already feel inclined not to because your video is engaging enough. Your hook is engaging enough. Your stuff is interesting enough to make me want to stay. If you have to beg, your shit really wasn't that interesting in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So for instance, right? My ADHD adventures, I don't give a fuck which one you watch. None of them are boring. None of them. Even the one where I'm taking out the trash. None of them are boring. Okay? True, just gotta play around with your techniques. You'll find your needs eventually. Exactly. None of them are boring. Okay? It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I had heard one of my favorite people I follow here. Her name was Chelsea Lynn. You probably see her, Trailer Trash Tammy. She's hilarious. She was saying that a vlog can be the most interesting or the most boring vlog ever. The most interesting or most boring footage ever. It's just how you approach that footage. Any footage that I film, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. It's gonna be engaging. It's gonna be engaging. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be interesting. And I do a lot of my ADHD adventures kind of go around the same things of like going grocery shopping, going to get gas, going to do something. There's only a few in there that I've done like events where I like went to MKE Con, or when we had went to round one for sister's birthday, or what was that one that me and Bessie just went to Dayso. All those little ones, right? Those are only ones that have events, but literally my stuff encompasses my day-to-day life. I don't really be doing anything wild. Most of the time I'm just going to the grocery store. Yeah, your dad's party too. My going to doing my retirement year with my teacher, her retirement year and performing after 5 years, things like that, like little events. But not all of them are encompassing that. Most of my ADHD adventures are involving me going to the store. Even the one of my most viral ones on TikTok, because the other two that I have promoted them on TikTok, but the one that I did not promote, the one that only got went up, it was perfectly free. I didn't pay for anything. It literally is one of my most viewed ones outside of my MKE Con. It's one of my most viewed ones. And the ones that's most viewed is me having to go to the grocery store, even though I really didn't want to leave the house. At all. Nothing really eventful happened in that video. If you were to mute my video, you would just be like, it's just a girl going to the grocery store. I went to the store. I saw a motorcycle in a parking spot that pissed me off. I went inside the grocery store. Walmart workers was coming up behind me, and that shit gave me anxiety because that shit is loud. And they're coming up quick, and there's two of them. If you muted the video, it just looks like a girl going to the grocery store. And you would think, why the hell is people watching this? But then if you turn the volume up, now you will see I'm funny as fuck. I don't care. Say what you want to say about me. I'm hilarious. I don't care what nobody else to say about anything. I can take the most boring fucking footage and make it the most entertaining thing on the planet. And with ADHD Adventure specifically, because that's the one that gets the most traction right now because it has the most videos, right? And I'm able to keep up with that one the most. With that one, I always have an opener, but in my opener, it is not always part of my day. What do I mean by that? So there have been some where I'll highlight MKE Con, right? The very first part of the MKE Con. And follow me. In the very first part of the MKE Con, it's part of my day. What do you see in the very first part of the MKE Con? I saw BMO. A BMO cosplay. One of the best BMO cosplays I've ever fucking seen. I've only ever seen it. I've never seen BMO in real life. Her BMO cosplay was immaculate. Okay? I made that my opener. Everybody was up in arms because they're just like, that is the sickest BMO that I've ever seen. Right? Cool. Right? But not every single ADHD adventure is going to have an opener like that. Not every single ADHD adventure, I'm going to meet somebody cool like that. I'm going to see something cool like that, right? But none of my ADHD adventures are fucking boring. Not a single one of them, right? Because they always have an opener. So for instance, I'll use the perfect one for when I went to the grocery store. When I open it, I'm saying, I don't want to go out here. I don't want to be out here, right? In the very beginning of that, now you're kind of like, your ears are perked up. Damn, why don't you want to be out here? What's wrong? What's going on? That wasn't part of my day, technically. That wasn't an eventful thing. That's just the first thing that I thought when I got into this damn car. Like, damn, bitch, I don't want to be out here. I need y'all to understand how I'm feeling right now. That was my opener. There have been one that's more subtle that doesn't really involve my mood. The most recent one, Dayso. Coming onto the video, we're bright, we're engaged, we're happy, we're ready to go, right? ADHD Adventure, we opened it. Dayso! People don't know what the fuck Dayso is, but now they're excited because why the hell is these girls excited about Dayso? What's that? That was my opener. That technically wasn't part of my day. I came up with that and I told me and my bestie, when I turn the camera around, we're going to scream Dayso. That video, literally, I got almost 50% engagement on that video on my TikTok. YouTube Shorts, for some weird ass reason, the engagement is just not the same, which is strange. I really don't know why, but like, even with that though, I'm getting way more engagement on that video than I typically do. And I think it's just also my audience is starting to transition now to like now more ADHD friendly and a more ADHD forward audience. So I'm starting to get a lot more engagement. But with shorts though, I've even noticed with people who have way bigger followings than me, their engagement, which most people, which you should aim for as an influencer or a content creator, is 10%. So if you get 700 views, you should get 70 likes. Does that make sense? So if you get 70 views, you get 7 likes, things like that. That's kind of what 10% engagement is. And that's what companies are looking for when you're looking to work with brands, right? My video on TikTok, the Dayso video on YouTube, is doing exceptionally well, better than I usually get. Like on YouTube, I usually get maybe 5 to 6% engagement on YouTube. That video's got like almost 9% engagement. On TikTok though, which I don't know why, they're not pushing the video. It's only at like 116 views. But out of the 116 views, I got like 50 likes almost. That's literally almost a 50% engagement. I ain't really doing shit. All we did was go to Dayso. That's our first time going though. We've never been there before, but it's new, it's fresh, it's something different. People don't know what Dayso is. People have never been to a Dayso. It's like a Asian Family Dollar. But even though you don't know what it is, you can't tell me that hearing me scream Dayso and seeing me, my bestie, super excited didn't want to make you stick around and be like, what the hell is that? I'm interested to hear about what's going on with that. After that, we had went to Jersey Mike's, nothing super eventful there. And then we had went to Marsh Cheese for the very first time, which we had been looking at for like 3 years, wondering what the hell that place is. Went in there. I didn't really do much. Showed y'all some interesting cheeses, put a cheese hat on, showed you a statue. It's nothing like wild, but watching it, it's fun, it's engaging, and stuff like that. And that's what I do for all my videos. I'm still tweaking the ADHDs, but I will highlight with the ADHDs, I always start off with the food. And you'll see that with pretty much any food content creator, unless there's someone who already, I guess you can say, are established, like Keith Lee. Keith Lee doesn't have to start with food. He just comes on as himself, and everybody knows Keith Lee. So he can just come on, and people know what he's doing. They know what he's about. So when he comes on, he don't have to introduce the food first. He introduce himself first, and then see the food, because they're interested in what Keith Lee has to say about the food, right? But other food content people, they will put out the food first. They'll show you what we're looking at first, right? With me, some of them have voiceovers. Some of them have voiceovers, some of them don't. Some of them just show the food and then show music with like text and stuff. Everybody has their own style. With me, I want to do for ADHD every single time, opening up with either the food that I love the most, or the food that was the most creative, or the most crazy looking, and giving like a piece of commentary about that food. So when you are watching it, you're just like, oh shit, I know this is ADHD, I'm sad, right? So I want to always open it up with that. The ADHD Diaries. I haven't been able to find another video to post in that because nothing's happened to me. But when it does, like, you can look at that video and see every single time I'm going to open up the ADHD Diary, you're going to find a snippet in the middle of my rant. I'm going to put that in the very beginning. So now you're going to be like, oh shit, what is Quay snapping about? What is Quay upset about? What's going on? And then I will proceed to tell you what the hell's happening in the video. So that is the formula that I follow for every single one of my videos. And it's helped me so much as a neurodivergent being able to post consistently, because one of my biggest things that will prevent me from completing a task is literally not knowing what to do, not knowing what I'm doing. That's why I really, really hate thumbnails. Like, I'm terrible with thumbnails. Like, when I say terrible, terrible. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like I feel like all my creative juices are just go into making the content. When it comes down to the damn thumbnail, baby, I can't wait till I have money where I can pay somebody who's excellent at that to do it. Same thing with my and if you don't know what a thumbnail is, it's the picture that you see before you click on the video. Like that thing. Also, I want to eventually one day, not right now, but eventually I do want to change my intro that I have for my videos, my long forms. I want to change that and get that a little bit more tailored towards something. But y'all see myself as kind of basic, because I'm not very creative when it comes down to that part. And I'm perfectly fine with admitting that. Okay, I'm good at being the talent on screen. I'm excellent at that. Editing, thumbnails, and like doing intros and shit. Baby, I know my limits. Okay, I know my fucking limits. That's not for me. And that's okay. One day, I won't have to worry about that. One day, I hope to have a team of a creative director or whatever person on my team who will do that, and I don't have to worry about it. That's another conversation for another day. But me knowing that, though, I still give it my all. I still give it a try. But I mainly do that through trying to figure out how I can do it and sticking to that same thing every time. So y'all see on my videos, I sometimes repeat videos. Y'all see like, especially ones that have gotten comments or people have liked them a lot. I'll repeat them. It's fun. Why not? I can do it every once in a while. I'll repeat them and then I'm happy because I already have a thumbnail set out for it, right? So I hate coming up with a new idea sometimes because I hate the fact that I have to make a new thumbnail for it. And if you don't know, if you ever want to be a content creator, your thumbnail is 50% of your like engagement. So like your video can be banger, but if your thumbnail is trash, ain't nobody gonna want to see that shit. It's the same thing with like a trailer. If your trailer for your movie is trash, ain't nobody gonna want to see that. It doesn't matter how good it is. You have to give people a snippet of what they're gonna be getting into. And so if you can't make it engaging or fun or interesting, people ain't gonna want to watch that. And so I, as knowing that before I used to do like a 10-90, like, 90% video, 10% slacking on the thumbnail. But now I'm just like, no, you really, it's 50-50. 50% your video, 50% your thumbnail. Your thumbnail is what get people in the door. If you can't get people in the door, your video is null and void. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I want to perfect later on in life, but not necessarily perfect because I'm going to be good at it, but just perfect by giving it to somebody who is. Like I said, I know my lens. I know that I could probably learn a little bit of like how to make stuff more engaging and fun and XYZ, but not only is making thumbnails like, I don't want to say like not my strong suit, but it's just also just frustrating for me because I hate like being indecisive. Like I'll sit there for like 15 minutes being like, but that picture looks good, but that one looks good. Well, my hair looks a little strange in that one. Well, my skin kind of looks a little like washed out on that one. Like I'm like kind of, I don't know which one is better. I hate that. I fucking hate it. It's tedious, it's annoying, and I hate it. So like I know when I get the opportunity, when I get the chance to have a thumbnail, when y'all see my thumbnail starting to be like exceptional, no, I got a team. When y'all start to see my editing, like I love the people who can do like the like there's somebody I follow. There's a mom and a son who I follow on TikTok, and they do sketchy food reviews. They go to sketchy places and try the food out. His editing is immaculate. In a way, I'm not that like upset about it though because it's just like I'm entertaining enough. I don't necessarily need sound bites and shit like that to make my videos entertaining. I'm entertaining as hell, but like it would be nice to elevate my videos by making like, what I'm saying, making them, a little bit more fun and engaging so y'all can see in my brain, see what thoughts are going through my brain, what like applying the right sound effects to what I'm actually feeling, like stuff like that. It would be nice to have that. So I want to eventually get an editor as good as him who could kind of elevate my videos a little bit, but not overdo it because I don't need a lot. You know what I'm saying? I don't need a lot. Once again, I'm entertaining as hell. So many creators have switched to making AI thumbnails. Please promise you never will. Ew, that's gross. There's someone saying, I never watched those videos because I can't bring myself to click on that uncanny valley nonsense. Yeah, no. I really don't want anything to do with AI. I do use chat. I only use chat though because chat is like, I don't know, chat just talks to you in a way that I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't really go on Google and type in Google, hey, explain this concept to me like I'm 5 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't really do that. But with chat though, chat like has helped me with a lot of stuff with like kind of like condensing my thoughts and figuring out what I'm trying to do and kind of like mapping everything out. So that's the only thing that I've tried. Yeah, I mean shit, I fucking hate. I hate the AI art is really annoying. And then like, I'm also, oh my God, have y'all heard that they're trying to do like Timbaland is trying to come out with an AI artist. Now, listen, I'm not completely against it. Okay? Because producers can create exceptional art. A producer on their own is their own separate artist, right? And I would get it if they are just trying to kind of construct a vocal to add to their producer stuff, right? But this is where I draw the line in the sand. You as a producer, if you create a AI artist on your produced track, right? You can only win an award as a producer. If I see a AI artist getting a award along with the Beyoncés and the Kelly Rowlands and she's not making music anymore, but like the Sierras, the Tiana Taylors, the Naomis, not the Naomi's, the Normani's, the Jasmine Sullivans. If I see an AI motherfucking artist winning a fucking award over an actual artist, I'm gonna crash out. I don't know if anybody watches Charlotte Dory's videos. I still loved her videos, but she switched to the thumbnail when I stopped watching her, so I can't. ChatGPT will mirror you. That's why it feels good to talk to. Yeah, I know they're personalized. I get it. What the fuck? Why that makes no sense if it's the whole song. Yeah, I don't know. You gotta look it up, Yana B. But yeah, like Timbaland is coming out with trying to make an AI artist. He actually already started. I forget what her name is, but yeah. And like it's not even like with like with like Huntrix or with like KDA. It's not like with them where if they won an award, I feel like it still should kind of be like a separate award. But if they won an award, right, for like some type of music or vocal award, that wouldn't be that bad because those are real vocalists. EJ is a real vocalist. You know what I'm saying? The people who sang for the Soulja Boys, they are real artists, real people who sing. So them singing is not, you know what I'm saying? It's not a big deal. It's not that's not something that I would be like up in arms about because at the end of the day, they are artists, they are singers, so they have every right to win an award, you know. But a fucking AI bot that you stole that voice from some other artist. AI can't sing. They have to mimic and find it from somebody. Just like they can't create art. AI can't create art. AI can't sing. They have to steal that, mimic that from real life people because AI doesn't know what it's like to have a vocal cord. You know what I'm saying? AI doesn't know what it's like to have a creative thought. They're just mimicking human behavior. The whole point of music is to share emotions, so that's completely insane. Asinine, I said insane. Asinine. Yeah, it really is. It really is. Like, I mean, but like I said, the only reason why I'm like kind of okay with it is because there have been some times where producers, they're producing is what makes the song, not even the artist. So if they wanted to like to use an AI vocal to, I can say, upscale their song without necessarily having to track down an artist to get them to work with them, if they wanted to do that, I would see that. But they should only win a producer's award. You know what I'm saying? They should only win a producer's award because there are a lot of songs out there that are just exceptional just from the instrumental, just from what the producer actually made, not the artist. And so I can see why they would want to kind of create something like that, kind of like being able to be completely separate, not having to feature an artist on their track. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you know you're looking for a particular sound, it cuts out the middleman of not really necessarily having to work with an artist in order for you to just produce a track on your own. You know? So I can get that. Have y'all heard about the data processing standards made for it? Yeah. Yeah. It's like that's one of the things that's made me not want to use ChatGPT because they don't pass guidelines and stuff, but at the same time, y'all, we're under a president that nobody is doing anything about. It pisses me the fuck off. Like, we're under a president who's not doing anything. He's literally in an era of fuck you, make me. The president should never have this much power. He's literally like a fucking king right now. Literally like a king. Where there's supposed to be laws of the land and shit like that, but the king can still do whatever the fuck they want. And nobody's there to check them. He's going over the courts to the point where states feel comfortable denying what the federal government is telling them. If the Supreme Court says, no, this is unlawful, you can't do that, there's no reason why, as a state, your bitch ass should be like, but I can, and I will. What you gonna do about it? There should be guidelines and guardrails up for that type of shit. Like where there should be punishments. But the president that we have right now, I don't even want to call him that. The imposter that is inside of the Oval Office that we have right now, they're not doing anything. And it's pissing me off because, like, why isn't anybody doing anything? And I get it. We got the Jasmine Crockett's and the stuff out, the people out there making tiny differences. But the shit that he's getting away with shouldn't even be happening. That's what's making me so mad. It shouldn't even be happening. How is it occurring? How are you making this shit happen? It's insane. And nobody's doing a damn thing about it. What the fuck? What the fuck do you mean? He's militarizing the government towards DC. arresting homeless people, and nobody's doing anything. He's snatching. Now, mind you, the Hispanics voted for this. I'm sorry, they did, because they thought they were going to be coming for the black people. But they're snatching immigrants out of the fucking country, just deporting them with no due process. That shit is fucking illegal. They're taking them from their workplaces. They're coming onto people's properties. And if I was a fucking owner and I had a property and my immigrant workers were working for me, bitch, y'all gonna have to blow this bitch down. I ain't gonna lie. Because you're not coming up in here disrupting our operations. You're not doing that. You're not coming up on my fucking property, on my land, and harassing my workers. The fuck is you talking about? Y'all gonna have to gun me down. ICE, you ain't got no fucking, no shit up in here. I'm the owner of this land. You are trespassing. You are not allowed here. But they're just snatching human beings off the streets. It's the same thing with like even the black people being killed by the police. Why is nobody doing anything about this? It should not be no shit about no damn civilians. We elected y'all and put y'all in office. This type of shit should not even be occurring. We shouldn't be having these conversations. We have a president talking about making 14-year-olds wives. He shouldn't even be able to mention shit like that without his presidency being in trouble. Without there being a warning of impeachment. He should not be able to do any of the fucking shit that he's fucking doing. But he is. And he's literally in that whole stage of fuck you, make me. Well, why the fuck is nobody fucking doing anything? Make him. There's no fucking reason. There's a reason why we elect presidents. There's a reason why we have a Congress. There's a reason why we have a House of Representatives. There's a reason why we have a Supreme Court to stop this shit. And you wanna know what the fuck the problem is? The main problem, and I didn't want to make this a political lie, but it's pissing me off. The main fucking problem is that we, the people, are not the main power source in this country. And that's the fucking problem. Because I was just asking myself, I said, okay, if the Supreme Court is just sitting back and letting him do whatever the fuck, who is the boss of the Supreme Court judges? Oh, let me read this. Same, I used to use it pretty often, but then it started freaking me out. Takedowns are devils, and they are taking over everything. And we're so scary. Yeah, now he's a dictator. They're sending them to literal internment camps. It's insane. They even admitted to administrative error. Yep, and then had the audacity to claim that they can't smuggle in a terrorist when they were told to bring him home. That's insane. Preach twice in Fiji already. People forgot about that. Yep, now it's that. Like, it's because I was literally asking myself, who the fuck is in charge of the Supreme Court? Who's above them? And I was just thinking, well, Coy, if you keep on adding the boss, then everybody's gonna have to need a boss. But it should stop with the American people. Yes, we elect y'all to serve us. We elect y'all to give us what we want. But it's insane that we, the people, have the limited amount of fucking power that we do. You telling me that we only have voting power? No, bitch. There's no fucking way. There should be a position where this person is like Varys from Game of Thrones. There should be a Varys in our government. Somebody who can't be swayed by the Republicans or the Democrats or the independent. They are an independent person for the people. You're doing something that is outside of what is good for the people. This person receives, or this group of people receive these complaints from the nation. It's not just from individual states, none of that shit. And this group of people, they listen to the people. And if the people are unhappy, then now, okay, Supreme Court justices, this is what we have to do. Okay, Congress, this is what we have to do. The people are unhappy. We should have emergency re-elections and shit. There's no fucking reason why this shit should take this fucking long. Y'all are insane. We should have something like that. Varys didn't give a fuck who wore the crown. As long as the people are served, I'm good. I'm gonna do it for the people. And if that person's not doing what the fuck they're supposed to do, we should be able to hold emergency vote-ins to vote their asses out and vote somebody else in. And it should be a yearly thing where your ass is up for your re-election every year. We'll see how you did. We'll see if we want you again this year. This should be the standard. Are y'all hearing me? This should be the fucking standard. Because there's no fucking reason why, as human beings, as citizens of this country, we have no power. Fuck is you talking about? You trying to make a 14-year-old a fucking wife? Are you kidding me? Over my dead fucking body, bitch. Over my dead body. But we shouldn't even be having these type of conversations. Some shit like this shouldn't even be allowed to come out of our president's mouth. And I promise you, if Kamala Harris would have said some shit like that, they would have put her ass on the fucking pyre. We have a pedophile in our Oval Office. But Kamala had a weird laugh, so she couldn't be president. Then the whole argument of, well, when she's on her period one day and she blows up the whole world. First of all, she's 60? 60? She's 60. She doesn't get a period anymore. That's number one. And then number two, women have a higher EQ than men and a higher pain tolerance and a much larger mental threshold because we have to give birth. We go through a mini birth every single fucking month and still go to work, still take care of our children, still grocery shop, still look out for other people, still vote in elections. Who the fuck is you playing with? Who are you trying to fool? But men, girls have to cover up their shoulders because boys can't focus in class. You can't even stick anything into a fucking shoulder. But girls gotta cover up their shoulders because you can't control yourself and you think that you deserve to be the person running the fucking country? Get the fuck out of here. Hold on. But it was the leaders of El Salvador and the Oval family. We can't bring him back. We don't want terrorists in the country. It was horrifying to hear it came with the right. Literally. It's work for us. But never, that's the leaders and everywhere ever was started by man. You're talking about you're riding orange. Yeah. Literally. It's insane. We have the power, but the problem is, and I don't really mean, I don't mean it in a racist or malicious or anything like that. But honestly, y'all, the only reason why we can't unite as a people is because white people refuse not to be racist. It really is that. Because when you think about it, everybody who wants to assimilate to whiteness, they're following behind that type of propaganda, right? Because black people, we have no problem stepping up. We have no problem having a community. The Asians are not going to say anything. They're taught culturally to be quiet and cooperative, right? The immigrants, they don't really have as much power as regular citizens. And then the Hispanics, they just have so much self-hate, like so much hatred in them towards the black community that it's not really going to help. However, if we had more white allies willing to put aside whatever prejudices or whatever they had, then we'll be able to move forward. And I'm not saying that in a way to say that it's only white people's fault, because it's not. We all got our own part to play. But I'm telling you, if we could get that group to actually care about unity, I'm telling you, it would everybody else would fall in line. Like the black people, we already there. We already want to do it. But the problem is, what ends up happening is because we don't have y'all backing us, right? They're just going to use us as target practice. That's the reason why we're setting this one out. That's the reason why we're doing a global, not even global, but a national black rest. Because if we were to get involved, that's the reason why they're trying to poke us now. They're trying to provoke us. If we were to get involved, they literally would just attack us and everybody else would sit down and let it happen. It's happened historically. Black people have been our own liberators since the beginning. Nobody has come to fight for us. We've had to fight for ourselves. And then when people see that we're actually getting shit done, then they want to join the party late. After a number of us have already been riddled with bullets. After a number of us have already been turned to sponges. Once we get that unity, baby, that's where the power will come in. Because everybody's saying, oh, we want unity, we want unity. There's no unity until y'all actually give a fuck about black bodies as well. And this country is just not like that. It's just not. I don't know really what more my community can do, because we're doing everything that we can. We've done it several times. The reason why we had DEI and same-sex marriage and all that extra shit is because black people stepped up. Same-sex marriage, interracial relationships, xenophobic stuff being outlawed, racist stuff being outlawed, is because black people were the first people to be like, no, fuck you. You're not doing this to us. Right? But the problem is that we have no problem standing up for that liberation, but nobody else is willing to join us, right? It's not until it affects them that then they finally start to give a shit. You know what I'm saying? The only time that we've ever seen any type of unity, I guess you could say, is with the George Floyd case. But even in that case, a black man had to die after 20 minutes of speculation for people to actually give a shit. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the shit was just follow the leader, performative. So it's like, I don't like to just ostracize anybody or specify anybody, but that's literally what it is. And it's been shown historically. That's the only reason why we can't bring the powers together. It's just historical. And I'm like, that's what me and my people are just like, no, we're not doing it this time. Y'all gotta make a move. We'll use it perfectly with the Hispanic people, right? You saw it in November. They voted for Trump because they thought that they would be coming for the black people. That was his whole campaign, really. Come after the black people. Eating the dogs, eating the cats in Springfield. Black immigrants are not eating animals. What are we talking about? Eating dogs, eating cats, and shit like that. Right? Nobody batted an eyelash. Nobody gave a fuck. And for those who did give a fuck, their impact just wasn't enough to actually make a difference. The impact wasn't enough to make an actual difference. We have like tiny itty bitty amounts of allies here and there, but it's just not enough. Not enough people give a fuck. Not enough people care, right? So like, for instance, I use the Hispanics. They voted for Trump because they thought that they weren't going to be affected. They thought that Trump was only going to be coming for the black people. Now that they're the ones who are the first to go, the first to target, they went after DEI, whatever. Now that they're deporting their grandmothers, their wives, their grandfathers, their sons, their daughters, their moms, their dads, their friends, their co-workers, their bosses, they're losing their jobs, they're losing their homes, they're trying to do things the legal way, and they're getting snatched off out of their work, snatched off their work sites, snatched out of their homes. Their children are being arrested and put into camps. Now it's all about unity. Now they care. Now they're angry. Now they want to do something. Now, more importantly, they want the black people to do something. They had the nerve to say, where are the black people? Why aren't y'all helping us? Why would we? Did you just forget a few months ago in November, you voted for this because you thought that it wasn't going to affect you? You thought we were going to be the only ones on a chopping block? And you thought you could continue your little journey to assimilate to whiteness? Is that what the fuck you thought? And now you want unity? Using Tupac's song, talking about America would be nothing without Mexicans. Yeah, finish the rest of it. And as a matter of fact, play some other shit. Because Tupac did a lot of interviews. He didn't like y'all. He knew y'all was bullshitters from the very beginning. He did highlight that without immigrants, America would not run. We have organic food. We have vegetables and fruits because y'all are out there farming it for us. We are grateful. But America also will be absolutely dog shit. Nothing without black people. Point blank, period. America wouldn't be America. America is only as wealthy as it is because of our labor, our blood, our sweat, our tears, our suffering. There was no place for you without us. What are you talking about? Us liberating ourselves, us fighting for our rights, got you yours. And now you're talking about unity? Unity was voting for Kamala Harris, the only good candidate. Trump wasn't even a fucking option. And it's not even just because he's a white man or whatever and I'm a black woman, so I'm against it. No, it's because he quite literally was almost impeached twice. We're living in his economy right now. Biden and Harris's economy does not start until 2028. Where in his economy, I'm sorry, no, it started now. Starts 2016. No, 2016 to 2020 was after Obama, Trump. Yeah. We just entered their stuff. Because that's how it works. It doesn't go into effect until afterwards. Hold on, let me read y'all stuff. I don't want to miss anything. I just heard someone say on TV slavery was abolished thousands of years. Thousands of years ago. And white people were the first race to do it. Would it surprise you if I told you it was Fox News? Oh no, it wasn't. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I'm not surprised it's Fox. They always say dumb stuff and don't fact check anything. Yeah, the anti-intellectualism is so damn wild, and the self-hatred, self-bigotry. Yeah, they're legally required to call themselves entertainment. They're legally required to call themselves entertainment news because they've been involved in so many lawsuits for misinformation. Yeah. It's only been slightly over 300 years, and they still hide all the atrocities. Like, right there, have y'all heard they're coming after he's coming after the Smithsonian or something like that? He's coming after the museums. They want to hide how bad slavery was. What the fuck is he talking about? Literally, I just heard someone on a debate live last night said that slavery was a career. Career? Shit had me so fucking heated. How the fuck do we go from Obama to Trump? Literally, it's actually been 160 years. And actually, slavery didn't even end that long ago because people were still on plantations in the South because they did not know that slavery had ended. I just literally watched a video of a lady who was living on a plantation, forced to live on a plantation, her and her family, until like 1970 something. Because her plantation owners lied. Well, the plantation owners, they don't own her. The plantation owners lied and said that slavery wasn't abolished. Can you believe that shit? Can you believe that shit? June 19th, 1865, I think. You're telling me over 100 years later, you and your family are still enslaved? Are you fucking kidding me? But that's what they expected. She didn't get education. They didn't get access to the news. They didn't get access to electronics. They didn't get access to any of that stuff. So, and they were illiterate. They didn't learn. They didn't teach them anything. They wanted them to just be on farms. So they were completely cut off from the outside world. They had no idea what was happening. They had been liberated for years, and they just didn't know. And it's still coming to this day. We got white people adopting black children and making them slaves in their homes. Jim Crow wasn't that long ago. They black and white the videos, the photos and videos to try to make it seem like it was so far away. Ruby Bridges is still alive. Ruby Bridges is still alive. They just make the videos and photos look so long ago. Some of this shit was happening when my mother was born. My mother was born. Y'all need to understand there are still black people in this world, older black people in this world who do not like white people. Hate them, actually. Loathe them. Because of what happened to them when they were children. Y'all need to understand. This is not some new little fucking thing. This is not, oh, it happened 200 years. No, it didn't. This type of stuff has still been going on in my grandmother's lifetime. My great-grandmother's lifetime. There are old heads. Literally, when I used to work at the bank, I had like maybe, I think 2 or 3, besides my managers, but I'll say on the teller line, we had like 2 white tellers. There were older black people who refused to work with them. When I say refused, it didn't matter how long one of the other black tellers took. She would, like, one of my white coworkers would like, hey, I can help you. And they would stand there and be like, no, I'm not. I'm not doing that. And it's not because they think that you're automatically a bad person. They don't want to be profiled. They don't want to be mistreated. They don't want to be judged. They don't want you to slip up and say some crazy ass shit and they gotta pop off all you in here. They're uncomfortable. They're uncomfortable. There were only a handful of educators that had a predominantly black staff. And it was my branch. Hold on, y'all. Jesus. It's Saturday night, y'all. Saturday night. Um, there were like my branch, and then there was one other branch that was like predominantly black. Yeah, I think it's a club nearby, like a club where they meet up with the bikes. But there was literally my branch and then maybe one other branch, and literally they refused. They didn't care how long it took for them to have to wait in line. They didn't care. They didn't care. They refused to go to any other teller. They refused to go to any other location because they wanted to be surrounded by skin folk. And it is because they would tell me, they would come up to my thing and they would be like, no, I'm not going to her. And they would even point me out. They'd be like, I'm waiting on you. And they'll come up and I'm like, my coworker know how to do this stuff. Why don't you want to go to them? And they were like, no, I don't trust them. I don't want them to, say something crazy or, and it's just like, you think that slavery was that long ago, but I'm meeting people who are uncomfortable going to a white teller. And it's not because they just hate white people or they want to be mean or vicious. It's because they have gone through things. I've had people tell me some of the most horrendous shit they've gone through dealing with white people, racist white people. All types of stuff. There's videos out there of swarms of white children picking on 2-3 black kids on their bikes. They just trying to ride their bikes. And there's like 40 white kids surrounding them, threatening them, throwing things at them. Like, you had white people harassing a 6-year-old. I don't care what nobody has to say about anything, because you didn't want that 6-year-old to be inside of the school with your children. Y'all have little black Barbie dolls in caskets, black Barbie dolls on things, on ropes and shit. Talking about you gonna harm this little girl to the point where the police had to keep y'all from hurting her, and that girl is still alive. Slavery was not that long ago. And even if it was, it's not like y'all have atoned for anything. Y'all haven't fixed shit. You haven't apologized for shit. You haven't tried to make anything right. And you want us to let it go? It's never forget with 9/11. It's never forget with the Holocaust. It's never forget what happened with the Asians with coronavirus. But we're told to forget about slavery? The atrocities that you committed against my people, and y'all have never said y'all fucking sorry? Having to sit here telling us that we shouldn't be expecting reparations when the whole reason why this country is the way it is now is because of the blood, sweat, and tears and suffering from our bodies that built it. You owe us. It's not no, oh, we just think we're entitled to it. We are. You enslaved my people for decades, generation after generation after generation. You beat us, you shaved our hair, you took our teeth, you fed our children to alligators. Y'all made breeding farms out of us. You took our hair and stuffed it in your couches and your chairs. You used to eat us. You used to have picnics. That's why black people say cookouts and not picnics. Y'all, picnics used to be pick a N-word. Because they used to have picnics and have one of my people hanging on a tree above them like a fucking chandelier. And you want us to forget? Y'all set up petting zoos. Y'all put my people on display in cages and had your people going around petting us. To the point where now white people feel comfortable asking to touch our hair, pet our hair like we're a kitten. And you want us to forget? You called us uncivilized, told us that we carry diseases that y'all don't have, but then had us raising your children. You gave us separate bathrooms and said that we were dirty because of our blackness. And then had your children suckling from our teat, from our breast. You called us unclean, dirty, but then made us y'all maids. You called our hair uncouth, unkept, ugly. Well then, if it was so ugly, why did you force us to cover it up? And then when we covered up the hair, then y'all forced the law saying that we couldn't wear hair wraps anymore because they were just too beautiful. You say that our lips are too big, but then you use filler. You say our skin is too dark, but then you tan. You say that we have ghetto culture, but then yet you're getting your nails super long and wearing hoop earrings. You say that our language is ratchet or uncouth or uncivilized, but yet and still you use it. You say that we are victims and that we are weak and we can't do anything, but every single time you need to be strong, here comes the black scent. It's insane. I'm gonna read y'all stuff. Y'all know I just don't want to get distracted. And for any of my white viewers, it's not to come after y'all. If it don't apply, let it fly. Yep, and that's not even really entirely about us. It's just called capitalism now. Right, and also immigration. The only reason they're not giving an easier pathway to citizenship is because going for low wages. Yep. She's only 70. Oh my god. Yep. She's like 70 or so now. Yep. They really are partying. They're crazy. Yeah, the city's crazy on the weekend. When is our reparations? Period. Holy fuck, I did not know about the picnic thing. Black history is so fucking important. I'm so heated. Yeah, it's extended, and there's still stuff. And honestly, it's only us on here. I'm gonna be really honest. Like, I have to remove myself from a lot of stuff that we learned. I have to keep myself from consuming too much of some things because of a lot of things. Because as a black person, you know, I want to stay pure. I want to be okay with everybody. I want to love everybody. I want to be inclusive of everybody, but it's really fucking hard, dude. If you're any of my white viewers, it's hard. It's really, really, really hard. And I don't think that people realize on the day to day how hard it is for black people to keep our hearts full and accepting and loving and all that stuff when we go through shit on a day-to-day basis. A day-to-day basis. Constantly gaslit, going through things on a day-to-day. There's no reason at all why we're getting gunned down by the police and nobody's doing a damn thing about it. Unless a family has the money and the means, or a lawyer is nice enough to do it pro bono. My people are being gunned down in the fucking streets and nobody cares. We're being killed in broad daylight by the people who are supposed to be able to protect us, who are supposed to be protecting us, and they're not. And I don't think that y'all understand seeing that on a day-to-day basis. We never get a fucking break. It's almost every week, every other day, I'm seeing some new shit. On top of that, dealing with the history that people are trying to tell us to ignore. I saw the Purdue or whatever, fucking poor you bullshit curriculum that they're trying to put on PBS, where they're putting Christopher Columbus saying, being a slave was better than being killed, right? Have you lost your fucking mind? Slavery wasn't that bad. I'm sorry. Are you the people who were enslaved? Are you part of that lineage? No. So how the fuck can you say what was or was not that bad? And of course, it's from the voice of a white person. It's not from a voice of one of us. Slavery wasn't that bad. We have some white people coming out saying that slaves got to learn skills and apply their skills to new jobs. So slavery wasn't that bad. This is what they're teaching their children. This is what they're teaching their children. And then in the same breath saying, oh, well, we have to protect them. We can't let the kids feel bad. We can't let them feel bad about slavery. You should feel bad about slavery. You should. As a matter of fact, our children can't avoid those conversations. Our children can't be innocent and walk through the world and without a care in the world. They don't get to live like that. That's not their experience. That's not their reality. My mother had the conversation with me before I was the age of 10. Keep your hood off. Keep your hands out of your pocket. And as a matter of fact, keep your cash in your hand so the store clerk knows that you're not stealing. As a child, before the age of 10, my mother is having these conversations with us. And you think that your child is too young to learn about slavery? You think that your child is too young to learn about the atrocities that your people did to us? My child's not. If I ever have kids, my nieces and my nephews are not too young to have to learn about it, because it's going to be their lived experience dealing with the remnants of that. I'm Irish and can't even tan. I stand right with y'all. This is atrocious. What the fuck? They're really trying to gaslight us. Yep, they're trying their damnedest to play it down, calling it a career choice. Yeah. Oh, slavery wasn't that bad. We shouldn't make the kids. We shouldn't make the kids learn about that. Fuck is he talking about? Yes, we should. As a matter of fact, you should want your children to be disgusted with what happened. Disgusted. Your children should be looking at their great-great-great-grandparents with disgust. What the fuck do you mean you condone owning a person? And as if that wasn't inhumane enough, not only after you condoned and or participated in owning a person, you then beat them, separated them, raped them, stole from them, ate them, used their hair for your furniture, used their teeth for your dentures, used their organs for your science, use their skin for your science. Because if y'all did not know, melanin is worth more than gold, because they carry certain properties, it carries certain genes for healing and all types of stuff, all types of things. It is because of the Black woman's genes, a Black woman's cells, that we have the science that we have today. Doing science experiments on us. Your children are too young to learn that? I don't give a fuck. Because our children are not too young to live it. So the fact that you think that your child's feelings being hurt trumps our children's lived experience, you are on a level that I simply just can't get on. Suffer in hell. They don't get to disrespect the history of African Americans in the country, which is built off of us. Exactly. This country was built by enslaved hands. The Bible heavily advocated and even provided rules on how to treat slaves. That's been part of the many debates I've been listening to lately. They defend it. Yeah, they twist. Honestly, this is another reason why I don't adhere to any religion. I don't like adhering to anything that can be manipulated by man. Personally, no. Okay, that's the reason why I don't adhere to a religion. That's why I don't see the Bible as like a end all be all. I see it as a life book. I see it the way I see Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? It's meant to be kind of there to help whoever it needs to. And whatever you're struggling with, the passage is meant to help you, through life or whatever you're struggling with. Hence the reason why it's so contradictory. Um, but they took that book and manipulated it to fit their own narrative. And they do that for everything. They take it to push their own narrative. There's so many different versions of the Bible. They done took out so many fucking verses because they do not want to follow it. And this is the reason why, I'm not going to go too far off, but this is the reason why I always say people who are discriminatory in any way, that shit can be turned right back on you. I say that you're not smart if you don't see that connection, because it's right there in front of your face. I'm going to read. There's so many translations of the belief that there is no true translation. They can take things however they want. Exactly. Evangelicals are basically running the show these days. Christian nationalism in this way. Yeah. It's sickening. But when you think about it, right? It's so historical. That's why I say I love that I'm so observant and I pay attention to so much stuff. It's literally so clear, right? Every single time there is an oppressed group being told that you can't do something, or something is against God, or something's going to send you to hell, don't y'all ever find it funny that it's always the ones in power who are saying that? Last time I checked, God didn't crack up in the sky and say nothing like that. Who said that the black slave is supposed to be subservient and deal with anything that the white slave owner wants? The white slave owners. Who said that being gay was against God? The straights. Who said that poor people are meant to work and pick themselves up by their bootstraps with no help because it's others' divine right, the rich? Who said that the Native Americans didn't belong? The settlers. Who said that women were supposed to be subservient to men? Never supposed to aspire for more besides procreating and being their personal sex dolls? The men. Are y'all following me? Who still told black people that our skin is dirty and that we're unkept and uncouth, and that's the reason why God would never love us? The whites. Every single fucking time, it is always the oppressor telling the oppressed, the ones who are in power, that this is what God wants. But when you sit back and you really think about it, it doesn't make any sense. Y'all not missing anything. Cognitive dissonance is also running the show. Yeah. Yep. Oh, that's heavy. Cognitive dissonance is so heavy, it's insane. But, right, when you really look at God, and it's the reason why I say I'm spiritually bounded, I believe in what is logically correct, but also what makes morally right, but which makes logical sense, right? Everything that y'all say doesn't make any fucking sense, right? Even bringing it down. Now, I grew up Christian, so most of my ideologies, most of the things that I know, most of the information that I understand is from that, because that's what I grew up in. You're asking too much of these people who are really thinking about anything. It's not in their wheelhouse. Yeah, it's insane. Honestly, the people who this message really is meant for can't even read. So I'm just gonna keep on talking to the intellectuals. You know what I'm saying? But let's talk about it. Let's highlight it, right? When it comes down to God, okay? Even the saying Father, Son, Holy Spirit, that doesn't make any sense to me. And let me tell y'all why, right? Why? Well, actually, I will break it down like this. Who taught you patience? Who taught you compassion? Who taught you empathy? Who taught you love? Who taught you gentleness? Who taught you forgiveness? Who did you learn that from? Most people would say their mother. Most would say their mother, right? And if it was from their father probably learned it from their mother. Okay? It is attributed to a woman. Okay? When you think about the creating of life, men are like the baking soda inside of a cake. That small pinch of baking soda inside of a cake. But the woman is all the other ingredients in the oven. It wouldn't make no sense to me how God is Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, but men don't create life. When you think of God, God is forgiving, God is merciful, God is loving, God is understanding, God is patient, God is gentle, God is just, God is fair. But when you really look at what God is really like, they mimic the behaviors, or women mimic the behaviors of God. Men don't. The fact that we have to create laws telling men that they can't have sex with children is a prime example of that. Right? Same thing when we're talking about, and just follow me, okay? I'm going to go a little deep, but y'all got it. But when we're talking about the people who are speaking about what God wants and what God has for you, they're always the people in power, but God is the one to tell you that a rich man is the last motherfucker to get into heaven. Right? I had to have this conversation with my mother. I said, why is God only Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and not Mother, Daughter, and the Holy Spirit? Why would God follow a man? Why would God be in cahoots with a rich man when you're more comfortable and can focus on world items and world monetization to keep you comfortable? You're less likely to turn to God for anything because you have everything. Why would you feel the need to have a relationship with it? But when you have nothing, all you have is God. So how is it that God is talking to you when in that same little book that you like to flaunt, God says that a rich man is the last person to get into heaven, but you are the spokesperson for God? Then to speak on it, right? Why would God ever give white people the power or dominion over anyone? And walk with me on this. You know, with your parents, right? No one ever forgets the first. Does it mean that the first is the only thing that you care about? No. Does it mean that the first is the only thing that matters? No. But you never forget the first. Even when you have parents who have other children, they never forget their first child. They never do. Because it was the first time that you got to do something new. It's the first time that you got to have a kid. It has been proven in history. Okay? It has been proven in science. Black people, a black woman, was the very first human being on the planet. The very first. And every single race of person is derived from a black woman. Okay? Don't know? Look it up. Every race of person comes from a black woman. Okay? You're meaning to tell me, because also in the science, black people were around thousands of years before white people were. Okay? Scientifically, look it up. Black women, black people were around thousands of years before white people. You can look it in our skeletons and our bones. Look it up on, and it's all in scientific books. They literally say that black people or African people were here on Earth, going and migrating and traveling around the Earth. But before they did that, they were stationed in a particular part of Earth for thousands of years before white people came in. Okay, so follow me. You're telling me that for thousands of years, God just ignored their firstborn and waited for actually their lastborn to be made before they decided to introduce themselves to us? Follow that. Thousands of years we were on this planet without any other race of people. It was only us. And you're telling me that God just said, nah, yeah, for those eons, I'm just gonna be over here. I'm just gonna be on the side, you know. But when the white people show up, that's when I'm going to show myself. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to make them dominion over everybody. Over the children that have been here all these years. The ones who have traveled and touched every single corner of the globe before other races were even introduced. Because when you think about it, all the other races are only just light-skinned white people. And black people. Light-skinned black people. That's all y'all are. You are just black people with a lot of skin because you're away from the equator. And humans are heavily involved and heavily, our behaviors heavily depend on our environment. So we changed our skin. We changed our hair. We changed the way that we look from our environment. But it doesn't change the fact that y'all still are derived from us. That's such a good point. The first child is something special. The kids that father are never lesser or more. Exactly. But you will never be able to convince me that God just skipped past us and went to the last child. When in all actuality, y'all are just us anyway. If we're just being honest, y'all are all just us anyway. Y'all are all just us. It doesn't matter. All you are is a mutation of us. That's it. And that's science, baby. That's not a history. That's not a personal opinion. That's history. You're just a mutation of us. Everybody who's not black, you're just a mutation of us. That's why we can have any race of child. A black woman can produce any race of child with any hair color, any hair type. We have it all. Black people come in all shades, all sizes, with different hair types, different eye colors, different heights, weights, shapes. Because y'all are derived from us, not the other way around. Okay? And so when you think about it too, right? God is also Mother Nature. Okay? So that means that God is everything and nothing at the exact same time. God is water. God is air. God is the bugs on the ground to the darkest human, to the lightest human. God is male, God is female, God is everything. Because you should be able to look into God's eyes and see yourself. You should be able to look at God and see you. Because God created you in their image. I believe that. God created you out of themselves. We come from God, right? Created us out of them. So if you're an ant, if you're a fly, if you're a bee, if you're the air, if you're water, if you're a volcano, if you're a human, if you're a child, if you're a lion, if you're a tiger, if you're a bear, you should feel just as warm and just as wanted and just as belonging as any of the rest of us. So with that thought process, right? Knowing that God is everything and nothing at the exact same time, why would God care about race? Why would God care about gender? Why would God care about species? Why would God care whose skin is the lightest or eyes are the bluest? Why would God give a fuck about any of that? Why would God literally sit around worrying about something as feckless as that? Will you really sit back and think about it? This is a being that doesn't even adhere to time. A being that doesn't even adhere to time. Why would they care about something as simple as that? An all-knowing being, an all-powerful being. Why would they freaking stick to something that simple? Make it make sense to you, and then make it make sense to me. The only thing that I could see God really caring about is making sure that you're not doing anything to harm other people. That's why the whole being gay is a sin, it never made any sense to me. And I got into a fat argument with my grandmother and my mother about this. I said being gay, this was my biggest thing. This is the thing that turned me away from any religion. Follow me on this. Being gay, it being a sin, makes no logical fucking sense. And if you ask anybody who adheres to the Christian belief or the Muslim belief, they'll always say that being gay is a sin because God said so. Okay, what's the logical aspect behind that? Why would God be upset about that? Well, because a man is supposed to be with a woman. Why? Because they're supposed to procreate. So you're saying that God made every single man and every single woman with the intent that they're going to procreate. Somebody can't have a job or a life that doesn't allow them to have kids? Some people are born without proper organs. Not every single person is meant to have a child. That's not everybody's destiny. That's not everybody's purpose. There are some people whose lifestyles literally prohibit them from ever having children. There are some people out there who don't even want to be in relationships. There are asexuals out there who don't even crave human connection in that way. Like they don't mind being friends with you. They don't mind being close to you, but they will never want to be intimate in that way with anyone. There are people like that in the world. So why would you think that God has made everybody to want to have kids? Some people are not meant to have children. They just don't have the mental capacity for it. So that debunks that statement right away. Then they'll be like, oh, well, because you can get STDs. STDs came from men sleeping with animals. It didn't come from gay people. You probably see it more prominent in gay men because it's a man sleeping with another man. And men are the ones who introduced STDs because they were sleeping with animals. It's not because you're gay. It's because you're a man. So it can't be that. Oh, it's against our design. It's against our design. So is flying 80,000 feet in the air. But yet we do that every day. So is going 50 miles per hour. Yet we do that every day. So is working a 9 to 5. Yet we do that every day. Since we're talking about things that go against our design. We're not birds. We don't got wings. We're not supposed to fucking fly. There are some of us who are spending hours down in the ocean. How the fuck are you spending hours down in the ocean? We're not fish. We don't got gills. We don't filter oxygen through our skin. But yet we have people in submarines working in those waters every day. So if we're talking about what's against our design, well, we have no problem going against any other things that's against our design. So how in the fuck would God care about that? Are y'all picking up on what I'm putting down? Are y'all following me? It doesn't make any fucking sense. So it can't be against our design, right? Then, if you're just talking about sex in general, once again, I beg the question, why would God care about that? If we're being genuine, why would God care about that? God gave us sexual organs with the intent for us to use them. God knows that we need some type of incentive. I need an incentive to want to do this shit. So if God gave us sexual organs, don't you think that God expects us to have sex? Just saying. So my thing is, why would God be disgusted by a husband and wife doing anal? But a husband and husband, God's just like, no, that's just too much. Have you seen a turtle's penis? God has a very funny sense of humor. Very funny. Very funny. Have you seen a tortoise's penis? It's something. Did you know that ducks have like a corkscrew? This is why I love nature. Nature's will also radicalize me. Did you know that I had ducks that had a corkscrew like penis, where they like hook into the other duck? You wanna know why cats scream? Well, you can just randomly hear a cat screaming? Because during the mating process, I think like the cats, I forgot what happens with their penis, but they kind of like expand or something in them. Like they lock into them, into the females to procreate. You really think a being that made all of that is worried about a little anal? Please. Please. Hold on, I don't want to miss nothing. It's not there are multiple cases of animals that show same-sex relationships. Yep. Yeah, not following. Even intersex is seen in so many species. Yep. Frogs can literally change their sex depending on the environment. Yep. Fish can as well. Yeah. Same with clownfish. Yep. And ducks too. Yep. Oh my god, so I should look it up. The horse is it's a not, I believe. Yeah. You're telling me that a being that made all of that is worried about a little anal? Girl. I need to do this shit on a Friday night. Because they out here today. Literally, a being that made all of that. You think they worried about look, come on now. Come on now. And that's why I hate, I loved that I grew up an Animal Planet kid. I grew up an Animal Planet and a National Geographic kid. Okay, I grew up like that. I loved it because every single time that somebody would say, this is against nature, I would watch an episode that shows that it's not. I would watch an episode that shows that it's not. And then I had Christians try to argue me down, child. When I say argue me down, when I showed them a video of the same sex birds, when there's low companionship, when like two males, when there's like three males for every one female, the males will get together. Some bird species do that. They are companion like that, and they'll mate for life. Just watch another video with another set of birds. One female bird got impregnated by a male bird. The male bird, they're supposed to mate for life, but the male bird left her. So then she became a companion with another female bird. And now they're mated for life, and she's helping her raise her egg. Okay? Girls, we love y'all. I had a Christian, when I showed them a video of the two male birds, they was like, how do you know that they're not just lying to you? How do you know they're not just lying, just saying that those are two male birds? You don't know. Mind you, there is a very distinctive difference between the male and the female bird. You know which ones are the males, and you know which ones are the females. Why? Because the females are the ones pushing the eggs out of their fucking gooch. But religion will keep you so tied up in shit like this that you refuse to question. And that's one thing about me. I'm always ask a question. Always ask a question. Always be backed with evidence. Because if some shit don't make no fucking sense, I'm not going to just outright believe it. Ducks have a false vagina too. If they don't want to mate with certain ducks, they send them to the false hole. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Forgot about that. So wild. I love nature. Penguins, gay penguins adopt and help single mamas. Yeah. Yes, I love it. It's all in nature. That's all natural. Natural shit happening. Because every creature needs companionship in some way, shape, or form. Unless you're like a naturally introverted animal, like a tiger. There are some animals that are introverts. Introverts and solitudes, but even them, they even search out mates every now and again. Right? And so, like, but with religion, though, it keeps you trapped in that mindset where you have to find a reasoning to back up the nonsensical thing that you've been indoctrinated to believe. And that's why I had to leave the whole idea of a religious aspect, because I'm going to ask a fucking question. And the funny thing is that another thing that turned me away from religion is that every single time that you would try to question God, people would be like, you're not a true believer. You shouldn't question God and their methods. Why not? Once again, one thing I'm going to do is ask why. You shouldn't question God and their methods. God is just God, and you don't need to question it. Okay, well, if you think that, I have a follow-up question. Since you don't want to answer that question, since you just said this to me, I have a follow-up. If God didn't want me to be inquisitive, if God didn't want me to use critical thinking, if God didn't want me to use my brain, then why would God give it to me? If God did not want me to ask questions, why would they give me a brain to do so? If God didn't want me to think, why give me a frontal lobe to do so? And this is how I know that it's just y'all man-made shit, humans, who are pushing this shit because you don't have the answer to your own indoctrination. Because if God is so powerful and all knowing, and there's nothing that God can't do, baby, there's no question I could ever ask that God wouldn't have the answer to. Before I am born, God knows every single question I'm ever going to ask them in my lifetime. There's no question that God cannot answer. So why would God be threatened by my questions? Why would God be threatened with me being naturally inquisitive? Follow up. Why would God make me naturally inquisitive? Give me a brain that forces me to beg the question if God was so afraid of me. You see the direct contradiction of what the fuck you just said? It makes no sense. And then speaking of what's against nature, it's against our nature to not menstruate. But yet, women still get their uteruses removed. Another thing that didn't make sense to me, they said that getting tattoos were a sin. Let me get this straight. Once again, that's why I say logic just does not work well with religion. Let me get this straight. I can draw on an easel or a canvas on an easel. I can draw on a brick wall. I can draw on the ground. I can draw on a tablet. I can draw on a phone. I can draw on the grass. I can draw on the sand. I can display art everywhere, but I can't display it on my body. That's where God draws the line. That's where God draws the line. That's where God draws the line in the fucking sand. You know what? You can draw everywhere else, but the body, off limits. And why is that? When you ask him this, they're like, because God doesn't want us to modify our body. Are you a natural blonde? No. So you dyed your hair. Yeah, I did. Isn't that going against God's original design? Oh. Why are you in a tanning salon? Oh, I just look so pale. You're darkening your skin? Isn't that against God's design? Oh, you're going to get your breast done. Isn't that against God's design? Oh, you're going to get a hair transplant. Isn't that against God's original design? But nothing is stopping you from making those changes. Nothing is stopping you from making those modifications. It doesn't make sense. Yes, animals do have periods too, because they give birth. And telling you that questioning God is the devil infiltration. Yep, infiltrating. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Like, what the fuck? You sound dumb as hell. Why would give us free will? Exactly. The tree of knowledge. Animals have periods too, and tattoos are art for a body. We create places to do it. Wait. Tattoos are art for the body. Why create a place to do it if it's against God? Exactly. It's because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But when you have these conversations, their cognitive dissonance, they just can't. They can't fight it. They can't fight it. They can't. They truly can't. Because questioning it goes against the religion. And then just anything that people say that God hates, it's a direct contradiction. God is the most creative being that ever existed. The most creative being that has ever existed. Because for you to say, oh, God wants black people to be subservient to white people because black people are not desirable, they're not beautiful, God doesn't see your skin and like you. That goes against everything. If God hated me so much, then why did God make me in the first damn place? If God hated women, I heard somebody say, it was on a show, but I heard somebody say that God hates women. What was it? That God, wait. Women were an insult to God. An insult. Ah! If God was so insulted, why did God make us in the first place? Have you ever seen a platypus? It is the most confusing, weirdest fucking mammal. Or just animal. Period. Somebody called me. My sister. Weirdest animal on the planet. Why would God make something like that? And then tell us to put ourselves in a box? If God wanted us to be the same so bad, why not just make us all the same? God doesn't do shit for the plot. Okay? God doesn't do shit for the plot. If God hated black skin and black people and women and people of that are on different parts of the planet, God doesn't even adhere to planets. If God truly hated every last single one of us who are not white with blonde hair and blue eyes, why the fuck are we all white with blonde hair and blue eyes? God's love for diversity is in every single aspect of their creations. God doesn't have a race. God doesn't have a gender. God is not even a fucking species. I completely forgot to mention God relates to the planets and the stars in the sky. Like, you literally make no sense. And you have to lie, and you have to cheat, and you have to do this in order to use it for control. But if people were to open up their actual mind and hear what the fuck you're saying, people will be looking at you like, what? That didn't even make any sense. That didn't even make any sense. What are you talking about? Make it make sense to you, and then try to make it make sense to me. You're telling me that God made me, but then they hate me? And if they hate me so bad, why not just obliterate me? If you hate me so bad, personally, if I hate a piece of work that I've made or a piece of art that I've made, I just delete it. I don't know. The all-powerful being, I mean, ain't nobody stopping them. We can't do a damn thing. So why hasn't God done anything about it yet? How the hell you say this word? They're all conglomation? I feel so stupid. I don't even know how to say that word best. But they're kind of cute. Oh, you're talking about the platypus. Yeah. I don't even know how to say that damn word. Conglomeration? Oh, conglomeration. My stupid ass. I'm convinced nobody uses their brain anymore. It's getting worse too. Studies are showing that excessive use of generative. Yeah, AI is causing something similar to. Oh, wow. Atrophy of the brain. Yeah, you got it. Okay, y'all, I'm sorry. Sometimes my brain, like I said, sometimes they be telling you to sound out words. I'll be looking at shit like, what is that? They say to sound out words, but then we got words like pneumonia. Anyways, it just doesn't make any sense. So for me, I was like, I can't be religious. I'm sorry. There's too much to combat. There's too much to argue. It doesn't make any sense. And I was raised Christian, right? Now, mind you, they don't have any gospel music for what I am. So I just listen to like non-denominational Christian music that's just like hip and stuff, like Kirk Franklin. There are some songs that I just don't adhere to. Like some songs I try my best not to listen to, or I just take them off my list because they just don't make any sense. Or they just go against my beliefs in general. Like there's some songs by Ty Tribbett that I just can't listen to like that anymore because they're derogatory towards a certain group of people. But yeah. Or you have a piano or instrument? For instance, no, I don't. God would be like Burrows from Dragon. Oh, hold on, Dragon Ball, my freaking screen protector so jacked up, y'all. I can't even see y'all words. Dragon Ball destroy things it doesn't like. Right, they could. They literally could. That's why I'm just like, you have no reason, you have no reason to think that you wouldn't be accepted. There's no reason why God would hate you, because if God hates you, I get rid of things I hate. Y'all see me with these centipedes? Them bitches be the first to go. So why hasn't God wiped us out yet? Since we're so hated. And then why would God keep us around so long? We were here before y'all was. You're a mutation of us. And God hates us? Huh? You know what it's giving? It's giving the little baby prince in the king's chair. Or actually the little baby princess in the queen's chair. You're playing dress up on my throne. And you don't know what you're doing. And then the more that I observe, right? I'm a big observer. The more that I observe, the more that I watch, the more that I see, the more I'm just like, there's no way that white people are superior to us. I follow a creator who like reposts, like he's a commentary person, but he talks about politics, race, stuff like that. And he posted a video, and the video said, it was like literally a video, he was talking about hygiene is cultural. And when he said that hygiene is cultural, he was talking about how like Black people, we are way more inclined to shower, wash every single parts of our bodies. We wash our hands. We don't cross-contaminate. We are hyperly sanitary, right? And then he went to show a whole bunch of clips of white people saying that they don't wash their legs, they don't wash their feet. Some of them don't even wash their hands. And they're on podcasts and making videos. They're on podcasts openly talking about this. There was one guy who literally said that him and his wife don't bathe their toddler. They don't bathe her. They said that she doesn't need to be bathed. She's a child. And that they only bathe her if they think that if she wants to do it for fun. I'm sorry, for fun? For fun. There was a Black nanny. She posted a video how she was a nanny to like a couple of white kids. And these white kids, they were outside and they were out in the dirt. Okay, they're out in the dirt. And my mother was a clean freak, right? So she didn't play about getting. She was this Black nanny was talking about how she takes care of these white kids, and basically they were outside. They were playing in the dirt. They were, just getting all dirty, sweaty, all that extra stuff. And they came in the house, and she was like, "Okay." She prepared their bath. She said, "Okay, y'all, bath time." And they were just like, "It's not a bath day. We don't take baths on non-bath days." And she said, "What's a bath day?" And it's like, "Oh, it's a day where you go and shower. If you don't shower, if it's not a bath day, you don't shower." Baby, when I tell you that she said, "No, you've been outside all day. You have been playing in the dirt, sweating all day. You're getting in the bath." This is not a conversation. You're getting in this tub. She put him in the bathtub. And the mom came home and she was like, "Oh, you bathed them? It's not a bath day." And she was like, "It doesn't have to be a bath day. They were dirty. They were outside all day." "Oh, well, yeah, we just don't bathe them unless they're on the bath. It's a bath day." White people saying that they don't need to wash their chicken. They don't need to wash their chicken. Once again, hygiene is cultural. I watched a video of a white lady. She has like a disabled cat. And the disabled cat can't make it to the litter box on their own, so they kind of just poop on themselves. Or when they go into the litter box, they can't stand up or anything. So they really can't. They have mobility issues. She took the cat and she said that she washes the cat on her own. Nothing wrong with that, right? She then put the cat with the shit all over its butt and legs inside of her kitchen sink, right next to her dishes. Dishes on one side, cat is in the other. As a Black person, I don't give a fuck if you scrape that thing down in bleach. You don't put a feces-ridden cat in the same place you prepare your food, where you wash your plates, where you rinse your vegetables, where you wash your fruit. I was appalled. I said, you washed your cat in your kitchen sink with feces all over it? You take that cat to the bathroom sink. You take that cat to the tub. If anything, there are the places where you spit, where you bleed, where you clean yourself. That is where those germs go. Well, if you clean it, if you use bleach, there's still feces particles there. And some germs are not killed by bleach. Have you lost your mind? But hygiene is cultural. You're telling me these people, the bubonic plague, when I found out about this like 2 years ago, when I found out that the bubonic plague was not like the coronavirus, where it's just like a virus that just came out of nowhere. It was because they were not cleaning themselves. High heels came from them walking through their own feces. They would just shit where they stood. Europeans would shit where they stood. And then just walk around the shit. They made high heels to avoid the shit. People were just throwing their piss and vomit and blood and feces out their windows onto the ground. Black people came and taught y'all how to be civilized, and you think that you're the person who's meant to be in charge? No. Hold on. Hold on. God must hate white people, then we're mutants. Hello? That shit is so gross. Holy fucking what? Children need to be bathed extra. Yeah, they do, because they're disgusting. If you ever swab a child's hand and put it in a petri dish, you'll see how many fucking germs they have. That's not how that works. My kids aren't allowed in bed until they have bathing, clean clothes. Hello? It's a child that get dirty. It's exactly. They're the ones who always get dirty. That's right. Oh my God. What? No, that's disgusting. That's what they're for. Let's be real. They're not washing their produce. They're not. They're not. They're not. They're not. But that's why I said, how can you be superior to us, but then you do stuff like that? I saw a video of a girl who said she went on like a trip. A black girl went on like a trip with like 2 white girls. I think they were in like Guatemala or something like that. Some type of South American country. You know, where you sweat. She took a shower, right? And the other girls, the white girls, did not take a shower. She was like, hey, you know, guys, we just came out from like walking around, going out to eat, XYZ. You think guys gonna get in the shower? I was like, no, we're just gonna get in the pool. She was like, the pool? He was like, yeah, we're gonna get in the pool because the chlorine's gonna wash us. The chlorine from the pool is going to bathe you? You're using the pool as... Then I found out that a lot of white people don't exfoliate. They don't exfoliate. You're meaning to tell me you don't scrub the dead skin off your body? It's bad enough some of y'all don't wash your hands. It's bad enough that some of y'all don't wash your feet. Some people don't wash the bottom half of their legs. Don't wash behind their ears. Don't wash inside their ears. Don't clean their whole body. But yet you're more civilized than us? I don't see how. I really don't see how. And another thing too that always bothers me, right? When you think that you're superior to somebody in some way, shape, or form, either you think that you're smarter, you're prettier, you're wealthier, you're more successful, you don't sit around wondering what that person is up to. You don't sit around trying to keep them down, keep them low, make them feel less than. You don't do that because you already inherently know that you are exceptional. Only washing words with those exfoliating gloves. Hello, amen. Exfoliating gloves? Yes, indeed. Amen. Absolutely. You literally, I'm trying to like, you literally wouldn't be worried about what somebody else is doing because you are that exceptional. But yet and still, we see it in America all the time. A lot of white people cannot stay out of black people's business. Every single time, historically, it's just historic. All of the black towns we built, all the black businesses we built, all the black things that we had, y'all burn them down. the ideas that we came up with for certain inventions. And if we didn't get to the patent first, you stole it. Y'all talk about black fatigue in your all white suburbia fucking towns. There's not even a black person in your neighborhood. Probably haven't seen a black person in months. There's not a black person at your grocery stores, at your gas stations, in your churches, in your schools. You're surrounded by white people, but then you're talking about black fatigue. A word that you also stole from us. You're using our AAVE. You're trying to steal our mannerisms and you sound ridiculous. You're following our trends. We're the trendsetters. Specifically Solani, African American people. Which Solani, if you don't know, Solani is the name of our culture. Soul, everything. Everything is soul food, soul music. We're soulful people. So our name is also Solani. Solani are African American people. We make the world go round, quite literally. We are the most affluential and influential community. We mind our own business. But then here you come. That white guy who got mad because he couldn't join the all black girl gamers Discord. Do you know how many all white men gaming Discords there are? You just happen to want to join the all black girl gamers Discord. Our music, our hairstyles, our food, our neighborhoods. Y'all are always there. Anytime that a black person is doing anything, there you are to give your 2 cents. Where did you come from? If we're so beneath you, if we're so inferior, why are you constantly trying to keep us away from things? Why are you constantly preventing us from advancing? Why couldn't our president be a black woman? Ask yourself. Why people want to be oppressed so bad is ridiculous. Literally. That's a different conversation for another day. But I ask, if we're so inferior, if we're stupid, if we're animals, why did y'all have to go through? And why are you still going through such great lengths to keep us from achieving? Gentrifying our neighborhoods, pumping drugs into our communities, burning down our cities and towns, drowning our people. Y'all made an entire group, the Triple K, just to go around harassing black people because they couldn't work for you anymore. I won't get you started. Another conversation for another day, Silly. Another conversation for another day. I don't get it, personally. It's really hard for me, you know what I'm saying, to get that. Once again, somebody who's never been a loser, I just don't really... maybe in Loser Universe, on Loser Planet, in Loser City, or Loser Town, on Loser Street, in Loser House, and Loser Basement, maybe just... maybe in those loser places, maybe that's what happens. That's what occurs. Just maybe. But I don't concern myself with people who I view as beneath me. So, like, for instance, as an intellectual, I don't sit around wondering what stupid people are up to. You know what I'm saying? As someone who's always been the popular girl, in her own bubble, in her own lane, the popular girl who's known by everyone and loved by everyone and didn't really have no enemies. I don't sit around wondering what losers are up to. As a black person, as a Solani specifically, a Solani black person, African American woman, who is part of the most influential group on the planet, I don't sit around wondering what other races are up to. I don't sit around wondering what other ethnicities are up to. I don't sit around wondering what other parts of the world are up to. We in the spotlight. I am part of the most prominent group. Why the hell would I be sitting around wondering what people who are not us are doing? Y'all following me? So if white people, if whiteness is just so superior, if it's so exceptional, if nobody's touching y'all, then why are y'all going through such grave lengths to keep us away? Why are we so dead set inside of y'all minds? We live in that motherfucker rent free. Why are you consuming our music and our culture, coming into our areas and moving there? Why are you taking our dances? Why are you trying to speak like us? Why are you taking our language and trying to formulate it into your own thing? Why? If we're so bottom of the barrel, why? If we're so beneath you, why are we constantly on your mind? It's giving extra in our story. Every time you or anybody else says, as someone who I really finished it with, as someone who's never been a fucking loser, because of you from a few lives ago. Literally, listen, someone who's never been a fucking loser. I don't know what that's like. So we don't know what that's like. We just don't know what that's like. Big ass bombastic side eye. Like, we just don't know what that's like personally. We're not fucking losers. So to me, it's so strange because I don't invest into things I don't care about. I don't invest into things, yes, always going by. They always going by. They be ruining my lives. I can't wait to move from this house. When I eventually move, it'll all be because of y'all. But when I eventually move, I'm gonna be so fucking happy. And of course, I want to take y'all for that journey, of course. But like, literally, I can't fathom it as the main character in my story and someone who always has a chapter in someone else's. Hello? And I'm a memorable character, never forgotten. As someone who's always been the main character, I don't see that. You have to be lacking somewhere. You have to be lacking somewhere. There's no way I'm about to sit back, and be thinking, what's that bitch from Educators who was hating on me? What is she doing? Bitch, I don't give a fuck. I'm up. I attract everybody because I'm the sun. Even mosquitoes love me. I don't know what it's like. So when they're investing all this time consuming our music, our food, all of our culture, trying to take it and flip it and make it something new, I'm looking like you can't convince us. Y'all are trying so hard. Desperately. You are trying desperately to get us to believe that we are inferior. You are trying desperately to try to get us to believe that we will never be what y'all are. Y'all are trying to convince us that we need to want to look and act like you. But then you turn around and call AAVE Gen Z slang. Call edges sticky bangs. Call box braids the Cardi boxer braid. Not Cardi, the Kardashian boxer braids. Using things like T and period and cis. Personally, I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's the same thing with saying that dark-skinned women are not beautiful. Now, friend. Let's not lie. Let's not lie now. Let's not lie now. Coming from a brown-skinned girl, let's not lie now. You take a beautiful woman, beautiful face, and make her dark-skinned, nobody's fucking touching her. It is what it is. But y'all have to jump through so many damn hoops to try to convince yourselves. It's just, I can't. Once again, personally, as somebody who's never been a loser, I don't participate in loser-ass behavior like that. So I can't wrap my mind around it. I can't fathom it. It's weird. Very weird. It's very, very weird. And you're not convincing not a damn body. You're not convincing a single fucking person. Hello? So, it's just, so, yeah. But my beautiful sweets, the two of you who are always in here with me, ride or die, I love y'all so bad. I'm gonna go ahead and clack on off. Mama's a little tired. I'm gonna try to come on next week, Wednesday. So we're looking out for the live. Probably around like maybe I might come a little earlier, maybe like 7:30. We'll see. But probably like 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock. It's probably gonna be 8 o'clock. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But I will see y'all guys probably next week, Wednesday. I love y'all very, 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 very much. I appreciate all the love and support. Y'all are the absolute bestest. And yeah, I hope that y'all have a wonderful fucking night. I will see y'all then. Love you. Bye.